On a moonless night, four friends, Rahul, Titli, Arun, and Alina, heard about a mysterious library that only opens at midnight. It is said that upon entering Nishith's library, every reader finds themselves in a different world. At exactly midnight, they found themselves standing before a glowing blue door behind an ancient mansion. As they pushed it open, they walked into an extraordinary library. Floating books circled around, shadows drifted in the air, and luminescent letters swirled. Before them stood the guardian wearing a white mask, eyes gleaming with unusual light. The guardian said, "Each book waits for each of you. These books will lead you on an internal journey. If you dare, open them and be prepared to discover your own truth." Rahul's world. The ruins of the future. When Rahul opened his book, he was whisked 300 years into the future, into a tech-driven, yet destructed Earth. Humanity had turned into slaves for robots, with nature lost forever. Rahul built resistance in that world, bringing control back to human hands, and learned, no matter how advanced technology is, without humanity, nothing remains. Titli's world. The realm of mirrors. Titli fell into a magical mirror world where each mirror showed her innermost fears. She faced her own fears, pride, and grief one by one. She embraced her vulnerabilities and learned, loving oneself means embracing one's shadow. Arun's world. Warfield of the forest. Arun was transported to an ancient kingdom where he became a soldier. He was asked to lead a war where the line between right and wrong was blurred. Using his ability to make decisions and compassion for people, he avoided the fight. He learned that heroism is not just about wielding a sword, but seeking peace as well. Alina's world. The solitary planet. Alina found herself on a lonely planet with no other creatures, only air and silence. Initially, she was overwhelmed by fear, but gradually learned to converse with nature, finding new songs in her own voice. She realized that solitude can sometimes be the deepest friend of the soul. In the end, each of them returned to the library, having gained a lesson from their respective worlds. The masked guardian appeared again and said, "You have returned, but you are no longer the same. Now you know yourself, you understand the world." This library is not just about mysteries, it is a gateway to self-discovery. The four friends gazed at their books once more. These books were now more than stories, they were part of their lives. The night ends, the sun rises, but when the door of Nishith's library will open again is known only to the brave. Once upon a time, in a magical realm called Golpoguccho, there existed the most wondrous artifact, a living storybook. In this book, every story opened doors to a world of its own, valleys of dinosaurs, mountains with dragons, lands of magic, royal palaces, and legends from distant planets. This book was guarded by a young princess named Sarah. She was more than just a princess, she was the guardian of stories. Her duty was to maintain the balance within each story. Hidden within the heart of every tale was a golden crown, the essence of the stories. One fateful day, the moon in the sky shattered, and with it, the golden crown disappeared. Chaos reigned as the balance of the story world shifted. Seas rose to the heavens, palaces sank into oblivion, dinosaurs roamed the streets, and sirens dared to venture beyond the pages. Sarah realized that someone or something was intentionally disrupting the harmony of the stories. Using a special magic, Sarah delved into each of the 5 stories to restore order. 1. Valley of Dragons *. Here, she faced an angry flame dragon. From the fierce encounter, she learned the dragon's rage stemmed from insecurity. 2. Island of Dinosaurs *. She befriended a young dinosaur, saving it from hunters. 3. Mystery of the Royal Palace *. A cursed mirror imparted to her that only a true lover of stories could save the kingdom. 4. City of Sweets *. A place where people were made of chocolate, yet were forgetting each other because their story pages had been torn. 5. Enchanted Planet Realm **, a star whispered. Stories aren't separate. Each is a part of another. Lose one, and they all tremble. Finally, Sarah uncovered that a rogue character had infiltrated the stories, seeking to write every ending alone. Sarah confronted the character. Stories are meant to be lived and written together. To write alone is not to narrate, but to dictate. With her magic, the character returned to their rightful place, the golden crown reappeared, and peace was restored in Golpoguccho. In the end, Sarah understood. Stories aren't merely for amusement. They are the language of the heart, a call to bravery, and the pathways of imagination. In a realm of infinite time, an ethereal soul emerged, pure as the gleaming moonlight, fierce as the blaze of fire. Its strength was so irresistibly divine that the guardians of fate feared it and divided the soul into two parts. One was sent to the light, the other scattered into the shadows. These two fragments were named Alara, light, and Arian, shadow. Alara grew up in a magical world, overflowing with flowers. Her laughter birthed the morning, and her tears called forth the rain. Yet, within her heart lay a hollow well, a nameless ache, a yearning unfulfilled. Surrounding her was illusion. A cruel king, Marduk, nurtured her, but did not love her. Marduk knew the light in Alara's heart, if claimed, would make him immortal. Thus, he kept Alara deceived. You are not incomplete. Beyond you lies nothing more. Meanwhile, in a palace far away, Arian grew up surrounded by opulence. Though he had everything, his heart was void. Each day, he glimpsed an unfamiliar girl, in dreams, within the secluded chamber of his soul. His hand held a magical ring, a token of the divided soul. One day, in the secret chamber of the palace, he heard whispers. Half of your soul waits for you. Find her, and your being will be whole. Arian embarked on a journey, crossing mountains of fire, mystical forests, treacherous seas. He finally reached the Crystal Island, where Marduk had imprisoned Alara. Alara's eyes were full of bewilderment, her heart torn with indecision. Arian shouted, "You and I are one. You've only forgotten yourself." Marduk sneered, "If there truly is a bond of souls, rekindle her memories. Awaken her heart." Arian sang the melody that his soul knew before birth. Alara paused, trembling. Suddenly her eyes ignited with light. She slowly whispered, "You are the other part of me, my eternal self." When two souls united, the sky rained light. Marduk dissolved into silence. The two lives merged back into one complete soul. Alara and Arian together forged a new world, where separation ceased, and only the power of love existed. In that realm, every heart found its half-soul in a true fusion of love. Final words. The soul divided by lack of love is made whole by love's touch. Once upon a time, there was a world where colors, light, magic, and mystery came together to form a dreamlike realm, Alaria. Here, nights sparkled with the golden glow of the moon, and days were filled with the fragrance of flowers. At the heart of this kingdom were four unique witches embodying nature, magic, fire, and spirit. They were different yet united in heart. These four witches were Alia, the Queen of Green; Luna, the first light of magic; Sierra, the wild blaze of fire; Nora, the silent guide of spirits. Their friendship was as expansive as the sky and as deep as the river, but like every story, darkness loomed. Alia, the queen of nature, where Alia stepped, grass appeared. Her laughter bloomed flowers, and her gaze made birds sing. She had grown amidst the forest, with trees treating her as their own. She thought with her heart and created with love. But her weakness was her boundless trust. Luna, The mystic sorceress born under the moon's light, Luna's abode was filled with ancient tomes, floating spells, and cosmic rings. She read uninterrupted, wrote, and practiced to become the greatest sorceress. However, her pride sometimes overshadowed the voice of her heart. Sierra, the daughter of Fire Sierra, was a reflection of fire itself. Her eyes ablaze, heart aflame, and spirit unyielding. She confronted injustice fiercely, and her outcries shook her enemies. Fire was her ally, wrath was her weapon. Yet, sometimes her flames burned where light, not fire, was needed. Nora, the shadow of the spirit Nora, spoke little, her eyes capturing visions of past and future. She conversed with spirits, silently roaming the mortal realm. Feared by many, yet she was the gentlest of all. Nora never misjudged, but often no one listened. Into their realm entered a dire shadow. His name was Dark Zen, a dark sorcerer intent on taking all power for himself. He knew the combined force of the witches could open the mystical door, holding the jewel of immortality. He realized the door would only open if the four willingly united. Deceitfully, he sowed doubt, pride, and fear among them. First, he tempted Luna, saying, "You're so wise, yet Alia's powers are deemed superior. Don't you want your own reign?" He then fueled Sierra's fire to devastate Alia's forest. Alia suspected Sierra had turned foe. Strife, distrust, and sorrow emerged among the three. Only Nora, hearing the spirit's whispers, recognized the dark scheme. One by one, Nora revealed the truth to her friends. At first, they resisted believing, but deep in their hearts, memories of laughter, all-night tales, and holding each other returned. They realized that though different, they were irreplaceable for each other. To confront Dark Zen, the four witches united. Alia awakened the earth, binding darkness within roots. Sierra incinerated his dark spells with fire. Luna countered Dark Zen's magic with all her wisdom, and Nora called upon spirits, stripping him of his power forever. Dark Zen was vanquished. The mystical door opened, but they gazed into each other's eyes and said, "What we were seeking isn't beyond this door. It was in our hearts, friendship, trust, and love." Even today, when four distinct lights shine in Elaria's skies, green, purple, red, and blue, everyone knows the four witches stand guard. They are not gone. They live within each other, and within every tale of friendship that conquers darkness with the magic of unity. Long, long ago, there was a wondrous kingdom called Chitrapur. In this kingdom, the leaves of trees boasted 7 colors, the river waters shimmered with silver and gold reflections, and the sky painted itself anew every day. Colors mingled with the sweet fragrance of the air. The princess of this kingdom was Princess Ranga. Her hair danced with waves of purple and blue, and her eyes sparkled with hues of the rainbow. She was the only person in the world whose touch could bring colors to life. One day, a wicked sorceress named Kalika cast a curse on Chitrapur. She declared, "This kingdom is too proud of its colors. From now, colors shall exist only in my realm. Your kingdom will become black and white, devoid of feelings." In an instant, darkness enveloped the kingdom. Flowers, trees, the sky, the water, everything became motionless and colorless. The people neither laughed nor cried. They moved mechanically, like machines. But within Ranga's heart, colors still resided. Her inner strength was so pure that Kalika's curse could not touch her. Princess Ranga resolved to use her own strength to bring life back to the kingdom. Determined, she ventured to the many corners of her domain. By the riverbank, she sang a song of colors. The waters once again turned blue. In the flower garden, she touched each bud. The flowers bloomed, their colors returning. She gave the children her own handmade colors to paint. Their laughter radiated light everywhere. Yet, With each color she spread, Ranga's own hue faded little by little. Still, she would not stop. Finally, she arrived at Kalika's fortress. Kalika sneered, "You cannot return the colors just by wishing it. Colors come from the heart. What little heart you have cannot color the whole kingdom." Ranga softly replied, "That is why I'm not alone. I have with me everyone's dreams, love, and faith. Together, we can bring the colors back." Saying this, she cast the last bit of light from her heart, a small pink glow, toward Kalika's cursed heart. Kalika's heart softened. Tears welled up in her eyes, and those tears rained down on the earth in vibrant drops. Chitrapur became colorful once more, richer than ever before. Now, in people's eyes, along with the colors, there shone emotions, love, and empathy. And Princess Ranga? She turned black and white, but she was surrounded by millions of colorful hearts that created new colors for her every day. Her name remained forever, the colorful princess. Long ago, in a tiny kingdom called Avalia, lived a sorrowful princess named Rosalind. Her parents had perished in a war, and a cruel regent had seized the throne. Despite being charming, compassionate, and brave, Rosalind's life was devoid of happiness or color. Day and night, she toiled to serve her people, but in her heart, she yearned, "If only I could truly make a difference, not just for myself, but for everyone." One day, on her way back from the forest, she lost her way and wandered into an unknown jungle. There, she encountered an old woman, her eyes full of kindness and hands holding shimmering threads. The old woman said, "You are a girl with a pure heart's desire. Therefore, I have a gift for you, a wish-fulfilling dress. This dress will grant those desires which come from a selfless heart." Rosalind donned the deep purple, starry dress. Instantly, a magical glow surrounded her. Her first wish was for the children of the kingdom not to sleep hungry. The next morning, every house found bread, milk, and honey. No one knew where it came from, but everyone exclaimed, "It's like a blessing from heaven." Next, she desired that all the sick be healed. Light emanated from her dress, spreading across the kingdom. Patients began rising from their beds, healed. However, news spread. Rosalind possessed a dress that fulfilled wishes. Greedy people approached her demanding, "Ask for gold for me. Make me king." Rosalind's heart grew heavy. The dress trembled, for it recognized only selfless desires, not selfish yearnings. One day, that cruel regent imprisoned Rosalind, demanding, "Give me this dress. I want to be immortal." Rosalind smiled softly and replied, "You wish to save yourself. I wish to save everyone." She closed her eyes, placed a hand on the dress, and declared, "My last wish is for the kingdom to regain its love and truth." At that moment, the dress gleamed brightly, spreading a vast light, and the regent turned into a dreadful shadow of himself and disappeared. The kingdom reclaimed Rosalind, who earned a new title, the wish-fulfilling princess. The dress never performed magic again, but it was no longer needed, for Rosalind herself had become a living blessing. In a distant, magical kingdom called Aloria lived two twin princesses, Alora and Antara. Though they looked alike, their hearts were worlds apart. Alora was like her name, a beacon of light, gentle-hearted, with peace in her words and love in her deeds. Conversely, Antara was shrouded in mystery from birth. Her eyes sparkled with fire, driven by an insatiable thirst for power. She desired fear and submission from all who crossed her path. One day, an edict resonated through the kingdom. The throne shall belong to the princess who can become the true queen of hearts. Both sisters prepared for the challenge. Alora rose at dawn each day, delivering food to the poor, nursing the sick, and bringing smiles to children's faces. In contrast, Andhra attempted to rule through fear using her magic, forgetting that love was a stronger force than fear. Suddenly, a great calamity struck the kingdom. A terrifying shadow blanketed the sky, crops withered, and rivers ran dry, spreading panic across Aloria. Alora faced the shadow with the light of her heart. Her wings glowed golden as she dispelled the darkness with her magical chants, restoring light, happiness, and peace to the realm. The people shouted joyously, "The Princess of Light is our true queen." Andhra stood silently, tears of remorse glistening in her eyes. She realized that ruling through love was far superior to ruling through fear. Alora embraced her, saying, "Come, sister, let us govern together, banish the shadows with our light." Thus, the sisters embarked on a new journey, Alora with her compassionate heart and Andhra with her transformed soul. Together, they turned Aloria into a land of magic and light, weaving their own fairy tale across its bright terrain. In a land where two neighboring kingdoms coexisted, Agnipura and Sheetnagar, a story unfolded. Agnika, the princess of Agnipura, was as courageous as she was quick-tempered. Her anger would flare up like a raging fire in the palace, leaving everyone around her on edge. Even the slightest mistake would ignite her fury, spreading like wildfire. Conversely, Prince Snigdha from Sheetnagar was her exact opposite, composed, patient, and calm. His words would float like a gentle breeze, his demeanor and smile enchanting everyone. One day, a misunderstanding arose between the two kingdoms over a garden of flowers situated on their shared border. Agnika angrily declared, "This is our land. The flowers have blossomed in the fire of Agnipura." Snigdha, with his serene poise, responded, "Flowers bloom with light, water, and love, not with anger, princess." These words fueled Agnika's anger further, causing the flowers to begin withering in her fiery wrath. War was imminent between the two realms. Amidst this chaos, a mysterious shadow, the storm demon, appeared. He intended to exploit both the rage and calm to destroy the kingdoms, aiming to increase the rift between them and seize control over the entire region. Realizing the imminent threat, Agnika and Snigdha understood that their lack of understanding could lead to their kingdom's ruin. Together, they concocted a powerful spell, the harmony of fire and ice, where Snigdha's calm quelled Agnika's rage, and Agnika's courage empowered Snigdha's strategies. United, they fought against the storm demon, dismantling the balance of his wrath and chill, ultimately defeating him. The two kingdoms reconciled, and by royal decree, the flower garden was named the Garden of Harmony. Agnika learned, anger is strength only when under control, while Snigdha realized, calmness is only strength when aligned with courage. Their friendship blossomed into love, and together they forged a new kingdom, Jayotipura, where fire and ice coexisted in harmony, illuminating life. The tale teaches that neither anger nor calmness suffices alone. Balance, understanding, and tolerance are vital in life. Beyond the skies, there's a kingdom unseen called the Flower Kingdom, where the sky is always painted in shades of azure, the air filled with fragrant laughter, and shadows of fairy wings. At the heart of this kingdom was a gentle yet determined princess named Courageous Flicker. Within her heart was a radiant star that melted away darkness. One day, the peaceful sky of the Flower Kingdom was overshadowed. Returning from afar was a forgotten character, dreadful Kalanira, once defeated by magic of truth, love, and light. Her heart brimmed with seething vengeance. She declared, "This kingdom shall be mine again. The days of light end today." Under her dark magic, flowers withered, colors dulled, and the azure hue disappeared. The kingdom's life seemed to halt. Princess Courageous, with her fairy companions, Redwing, Fairy of Red Wings, Sunny, Fairy of Sunlit Hues, Blue Sky, fairy of blue magic, and moonlit, fairy veiled in silvery glow, resolved, if the light dims, we will light the stars. The five embarked on an extraordinary quest, across fiery volcanoes, breathtaking waterfalls, and a timeless forest. Along their journey, they encountered stone creatures, slumbering rivers, and talking shadows. Yet, Courageous never faltered. Her heart star was a beacon of strength and truth. Finally, they reached Kalanira's enchanted fortress. There commenced a grand duel between light and darkness. Kalanira hurled spells of venomous magic, but Courageous Star advanced towards her. Radiant with truth and forgiveness, the touch of light shattered Kalanira's pride, and tears flowed from her eyes. Courageous took her hand and said, "You haven't lost, you've returned. Let's choose the light again." And then the flower kingdom awoke with new life. Colors returned, the air laughed, and the sky gleamed with stars, not just the star in a princess's heart, but in her courage, love, and friendships. From that day on, whenever a child would close their eyes and dream, a gentle glow illuminated the flower kingdom's sky, a legacy of Courageous Flicker's star. In the stillness of the night, there was a mysterious date palm grove on the outskirts of a distant village, an enchanted land bathed in the silver glow of the moon. The grove's sap was extraordinary, each drop said to contain a magical sweetness. Villagers claimed that drinking this sap rejuvenated the body, invited fairies and dreams, and left the heart as light as a feather. The caretaker of this grove was an old man named Haji Majid. Year after year, he would gather the sap each dawn and keep watch through the night. However, for months now, he had been finding the pots empty every morning. Something or someone was stealthily stealing the sap in the dead of night. Rumors spread through the village. Some said it was jinns who came to drink the sap, others claimed it was the work of fairies. While some believed a banshee had returned from the dark world drawn by the sweet taste. But dismissing all superstitions, a brave young girl stepped forward. Her name was Aina. She had curious, fearless, and enchanting eyes that could understand the language of nature. One night, she climbed a tree and hid quietly. Moonlight danced through the gaps in the date palm leaves. As time passed, a small shadow emerged from the bushes. It was a strange creature, with a brownish body, tiny wings on its back, and eyes that sparkled like glowworms. Slowly, it advanced towards the pots and began licking the sap, relishing the taste it seemed to know so well. Aina, amazed, whispered softly, "Who are you?" The creature, startled, almost flapped its wings but paused. In a trembling voice it said, I am the sap bug. I cannot survive without sweet sap. If I don't eat it, the magic of my wings fades away. That's why I secretly eat. I don't mean any harm. I just need a little sap." A gentle smile spread across Aina's face. She said, "You don't need to steal to get the sap if you help us." From that night onward, the sap bug changed. It no longer stole. Instead, it roamed the trees each night with Haji Majid and Aina, guarding the sap. Its small wings regained her strength, and it dazzled even more in the sweetness of the sap. The villagers would say, "Now, the sap of this grove holds more than sweetness. It harbors friendship, trust, and a touch of magic." When the date palm leaves sway in the moonlight and the sweet scent of sap lingers in the air, the distant laughter of the sap bug can still be heard. Mingling with the tune of Aina's lullaby, clay pots, a tale of sap, light of dawn, a moonlit recap, sap bug's wings unfurl, magic sap takes flight, a twirl. Their tale is now whispered through the forest leaves, a story of the miraculous friendship between a daring young girl and a sap bug. Many, many years ago, there was a mysterious kingdom named Nisharup. At the edge of the kingdom stood an ancient iron door, which concealed the entrance to the netherworld. This door never opened because it required a mystical, legendary key known only in tales. The stories described the key as enormous and cumbersome to hold, with a design as if crafted by magical artists. One day, a young man named Arush discovered a metal blueprint of the key inside a decaying, abandoned house. Accompanying him was his dear friend Sahasini, whose intellect, bravery, and faith always guided Arush. They decided to confront the mystery. Crossing venomous forests, deserts, time traps, and maze caves, they finally stood before the door, where history and destiny awaited. Chapter 1. Beyond the door, as Arush inserted the key, a blue light blazed from the door's recess. The entrance to the netherworld opened. Inside revealed a wondrous sight, golden mist floating in the sky, a dance of light and shadow. At the center, on a royal pedestal, lay a woman asleep, the legendary queen, bound in centuries-old slumber. Inscribed on the stone were the words, "Only a heart that knows truth and sacrifice can awaken me. But beware, waking me will begin the conflict between two worlds." The slumbering queen before them was Elvira, the true guardian of the netherworld. Chapter 2. The clash begins just then. Their companion Dibanshu, whom they thought clever and reliable, transformed into an ancient shadow magician named Abrash. His face twisted, eyes ablaze. Abrash declared, "The queen's slumber was the source of my power. By waking her, you've disrupted my reign. I crafted the key. It will bring destruction." A fierce battle commenced. Abrash shook the cave with waves of shadow, while Arush and Sahasini together wielded the key like a beam of light to mount their defense. Chapter 3. The Queen's Sacrifice. Amidst the battle, Queen Elvira awakened. She realized that to stop the war, the key had to be transformed. Pouring all her strength into it, she merged herself with the key. It then became a key of light and fire, with an open eye at its center. Unable to withstand the key's light, Abrash dissolved into shadows, vanishing into the nether air. Chapter 4. Triumph of Light. The battle ended. The key was no longer of destruction. It was now a talisman of truth. The queen's voice echoed from within the key, "When truth is endangered, I shall return. I am now the spirit of the key." Arush placed the key at the heart of the nether cave. The door closed again, inscribed with a new message, "To those who choose truth, this path will open again." In a magical land far away, there was a mysterious mountain, the Golden Mountain. During the day, it gleamed in the sunlight, and at night, it was shrouded in a veil of black mist. Some said an ancient wizard's spirit roamed there, while others believed that entering the mountain meant never returning. The main characters of this story are Arun and Maya, a brother and sister duo. They grew up listening to tales of mystery and magic. Their grandfather was an explorer who suddenly disappeared one day. One day, they discovered an old wooden box belonging to their grandfather. Inside, they found a map and a diary. The diary read, "If you ever show true courage, the Golden Mountain will open its doors for you. But beware, the shadows always follow." The hand-drawn map by their grandfather showed them the way to the mountain. Arun and Maya set off on their daring adventure. On their journey, they came across an unusual village where everything ran like clockwork, except for one girl, Nora, who did everything in reverse. She revealed that the mountain was not just a mountain but a magical barrier between light and shadow. The three reached deep into the heart of the mountain. In front of the Golden Gate, it was inscribed, "One truth, one lie, one lost memory. Without these, entry is forbidden." Maya recalled a sad childhood memory, Arun spoke a harsh truth, and Nora told an innocent lie. The doors swung open. Inside, they discovered a wondrous magical realm, where trees spoke, rivers sang, and shadows moved like humans. But gradually, the shadows turned into terrifying monsters. Their leader was the King of Shadows, who was actually the imprisoned shadow of the ancient wizard himself. Arun realized the shadows were reflections of human fears, greed, and sorrow. Maya overcame her shadow with love and courage. Nora, with the help of an old red gem, trapped the King of Shadows. Peace returned to the realm. The ancient wizard reappeared and gifted the three friends eternal sight, a magical power to discern truth from lies. They returned to their village, knowing in their hearts that the Golden Mountain still stood, waiting for the next adventurer. Long ago, nestled deep within a dense forest, there lay a forgotten village named Gundhar. On its outskirts was the foggy forest, a mysterious woods so thick that even daylight feared to penetrate its gloom. Tales were whispered of an ancient treasure hidden within, a treasure guarded by the spirit of a riddle. The story weaves around two brave souls, Ione and Trisha. They were friends who grew up hearing tales of this legendary treasure. One day, their curiosity led them to discover an old manuscript inscribed with the foreboding words, "Whoever solves the riddle shall claim the treasure. A wrong answer means eternal captivity." Ione and Trisha decided to unravel this ancient mystery. Bracing themselves, they entered the depths of the foggy forest. Immediately, they encountered a ghostly apparition, a spirit as cold as frozen ice. It spoke, "If you truly seek the treasure, answer my 3 riddles. Fail even once, and here you shall remain, forever a shadow like me." The first riddle: without me, time takes halt. Without presence, nothing starts. Tell me, what am I? Trisha pondered for a moment and answered, "Breath." The spirit smiled, "Correct." The second riddle: ears I lack, yet hearing I do. Mouth I have not, yet speak the truth. What am I? Ione quietly replied, "Echo." The spirit offered a serene smile, "Correct." The third riddle, the most challenging of all: closest to you, yet untouchable, see me, but can't hold me. Sometimes warm, sometimes cold. What am I? Trisha hesitated, while Ione closed his eyes and said, "Light." A moment of silence, then the spirit shrieked and vanished into the fog. The forest opened up, revealing an ancient cave gleaming with the treasure of ages past. But the true jewel within was a magical box containing wisdom, courage, and the strength of truth. Returning to their village with the box, the foggy forest no longer entrapped anyone, for the riddle's spirit had found its release. Ione and Trisha became a new legend of the village, those who conquered fear and unearthed the enigma's treasure by the path of truth. In the village of Aranupur, a lonely yet dream-woven place shrouded with thickets, mist, and lost songs, lies a mysterious site known to all as the Time Palace. It's not just a clock, but a clock with 25 hours, where the rules of time are broken, and once entered, one never returns the same. Enter Rudra and Neera, 2 young adventurers. Rudra is courageous and Neera is dreamy. On a stormy night, the door to the clock opens by itself, and a strange voice calls out, "Enter, time awaits you." They step inside the palace, and the door shuts behind them. Time stops. Their journey through the mysterious rooms begins. The 7 rooms of the Time Palace. 1. Horizon of shadows. In this room, a large mirror shows the future. Rudra sees himself standing alone, having lost everyone. Neera sees herself walking, yet no one recognizes her. This room questions, do you want to change your future, or can you accept it? 2. Fog of imagination. The room is shrouded in fog. Visibility is nil. Only whispers of childhood dreams can be heard, flying wings, colorful rivers, magical horses. The only way out of the fog is to rediscover lost dreams. 3. Puzzle of time. Clock hands are scattered across the floor. One hand represents now, another the future, another the past. Failing to place them correctly means time will shatter. This room teaches, time is not fragmented. It is a singular flow. 4. Silence here. There are no sounds. Any noise releases shadows from the walls. Even their breath echoes like thunder. They walk hand in hand, quietly, and learn. Sometimes silence is the loudest language. 5. Circle of fear in this room. Their fears come alive. Neera sees her mother disappearing into darkness. Rudra sees his little brother drowning repeatedly. They shake, they cry, but they do not run. They embrace each other, and their fears shatter into pieces. 6. Tunnel of Memories walls are engraved with their old memories. First laughter, first tears, first betrayal. The room asks, what you have forgotten, is it truly gone? Here, they rediscover themselves. 7. Tower bell in the final room. A shadowy figure sits, eyes like fire, voice a rumble of time. It says, I am the tower bell, keeper of time. Answer my riddle, or be trapped forever in the 25th hour of time. Riddle. I am not, yet I am. I drive you, yet you cannot hold me. Lose me, and you lose yourself. What am I? Neera softly replies, you are time. Light bursts forth in the room, and the shadow melts into the air. The door opens. They are free. They think only a single night has passed outside. But upon returning to the village, they find 25 years have gone by. Their home is gone, people have changed, and only an old stone clock bears the inscription, those who have touched time will live forever as a story of time. Far, far away, right in the middle of the sky, in the land of the moon, lived the moon grandma. She had long golden hair, wore a yellow sari, and always had a spinning wheel in her hand. With that spinning wheel, she spun threads that created stars, moonlight, and starlight. One day, a mischievous girl from Earth named the Dark Queen thought, if I steal this spinning wheel, I can control the light of the stars myself. In the darkness of night, the Dark Queen sneaked up to the land of the moon. When the grandma was asleep, she stole the spinning wheel and began to flee. But just then, Anu, the little friend of the moon, who looked like an ordinary boy but had magical powers, witnessed everything. Anu quietly followed the Dark Queen. After crossing a long path, they reached the dark forest, where sunlight never entered. It was there that the Dark Queen was creating dark light using the spinning wheel. Then Anu bravely stepped forward and said, what you're doing is wrong. Anu continued, if you steal the light, both the earth and the realm of the moon will be engulfed in darkness. But the Dark Queen did not listen to Anu. So Anu used his magic. He absorbed all the dark light from the spinning wheel. Anu filled the spinning wheel again with silvery moonlight. The Dark Queen grew weak and said, I was wrong. Light belongs to everyone. It cannot be stolen and kept. Anu returned the spinning wheel to the moon grandma's hands. Grandma smiled, and her face shone with an affectionate glow. From that day onward, the moonlight became sweeter, and Anu became friends with all the stars. Long, long ago, in a hidden kingdom behind the Himalayas surrounded by dense jungles and swirling clouds, lay Shurandip. In this kingdom existed a peculiar mountain, which when touched by the sun, shimmered and glistened as if crafted from pure gold. The people called it the Golden Mountain. But no one dared to step foot there, for it was believed to be guarded by a massive serpent, Agni Naga. During this time, Prince Arjun of the kingdom was known for his truthfulness, wisdom, and sense of justice. One day, an old sage appeared at the royal court and made a prophecy. The one who unveils the mystery of the Golden Mountain will be the protector of the kingdom. But first, they must overcome the 3 trials of the monster serpent. Arjun decided he would go. Accompanying him were 3 brave and unique companions, Meera, a clever princess, whose intuition was the key to everything. Rohan, a young wizard who understood the language of nature and magic, Radha, a forest-dwelling girl whose eyes could unravel the mountain's every secret. The four set out on the path to the mountain. For 3 days and 3 nights, they ascended towards the peak. The journey was perilous, sometimes landslides, at other times, the threat of losing their way in the invisible smoke. Finally, they reached the summit. The mighty Agni Naga stood before them, enveloping the mountain with its fiery blue body. Its eyes were aflame, and its roar thunderous. Agni Naga spoke. "Why have you come here? For treasure or truth?" Arjun bowed his head and replied, "We seek not treasure. We desire the knowledge of your mountain, so our kingdom might be saved." Hearing this, Agni Naga said, "Then prepare for my 3 trials." Trial 1. Overcoming fear, they faced their deepest fears. Mira witnessed the loss of her family. Rohan confronted the fear of losing his magic, and Radha faced her loneliness. They acknowledged their fears but learned to control them. Agni Naga spoke, "Acknowledge fear. Do not succumb to it." Trial 2. Facing truth, they stood before a mirror, viewing their flaws, pride, anger, jealousy. They did not deny, but accepted them, vowing to transform these flaws. Trial 3. Sacrifice. Agni Naga said, "One of you must stay here as the new guardian of the mountain." The trio responded together, "We are all ready." Agni Naga smiled. True sacrifice is never demanded, it is understood with the willingness to give. Suddenly, the mountain shook, revealing a cave's door. From within emerged an ancient tome glowing in golden light, inscribed with the words, "Wisdom, courage, and sacrifice. These 3 hold the true throne." Agni Naga vanished into golden dust. The 4 friends returned to the kingdom, but Arjun divided the responsibility of rule among them. Thus, the Golden Mountain became a symbol of wisdom and unity. Once upon a time in the radiant kingdom of Solaria, a beautiful princess named Eleanor was born. Her eyes sparkled with dreams, and her heart glowed with compassion and courage. However, on the day of her birth, a dark sorceress arrived and cast a curse. The day Eleanor gives her heart to true love, her heart shall turn into cold stone. The king and queen were filled with terror, for their daughter's future seemed shrouded in darkness. They tried every way to keep her away from love. Eleanor lived a life of luxury, but without the warmth of love. Years went by. One day, the kingdom was ravaged by terrifying shadows. Villages were destroyed and homes were burned by the attack of monstrous creatures. It was then that a brave knight named Sir Aaron entered the kingdom. His eyes held unwavering confidence, his heart the brilliance of truth and courage. Princess Eleanor and Sir Aaron met on the battlefield. Gradually, they discovered something in each other's company that could not be expressed in words, the depth of love, the pull of souls. Eleanor could not hold back anymore. One night, she gazed into Aaron's eyes and whispered, "I love you." At that very moment, a strange blue light spread across the sky, and Eleanor's heart began to transform. Her heart slowly turned into cold stone. Writhing in pain, Eleanor fell to the ground. Sir Aaron did not succumb to grief. He stood firm and committed. "I will bring back your heart, even if it costs my life." He journeyed to the edge of the world, to the crystal lake, where an enchanted vessel filled with the water of sacrifice awaited. Only this water could wash away the curse of love. But the condition was, the water could only be drawn by offering one's love, selflessly. Sir Aaron returned with the water, pouring it over Eleanor's stone-cold heart. He declared, "My love is yours," without any condition. In an explosion of golden light, the palace was filled with warmth, and Eleanor's heart slowly regained its warmth and its beat. The curse was broken. Since then, every full moon night when the sky of Solaria lights up, the people of the kingdom believe, True love, if genuine, cannot be hindered by any curse. Once upon a time, there was a kingdom named Shandanger, nestled below the sky, yet above dreams. In the royal palace of this kingdom, a baby girl was born one night. Just as the moon reached the zenith of the sky, she emerged into the world, and a fragment of the moon broke free and fell beside her cradle. Everyone was astonished. The child's cheeks glowed with a radiant light. The king and queen declared, "This is no ordinary princess. She is a child of light." They named her Princess Chandra. Chandra grew up, and an unusual radiance emerged in her eyes and face. She walked in the moonlight, conversed with the stars, and dreamed of an unknown sky where there is no distinction between day and night, only light and mystery. One night, a soft voice from a star told her, "You are actually a guardian of the star realm, but your memory has been hidden." The voice continued, "The only key to unlocking your true identity lies in the Chandralata forest." Chandra wasted no time. She left behind the gold and silver of the royal palace, taking only that magical moon fragment with her. Her companion was a grumpy glowworm. They journeyed to the Chandralata forest, a magical woods where trees weep, flowers laugh, and shadows are not mere shadows, but living magic. In the forest's depths, they faced a dark fiend, whose body was shrouded in mist, with eyes of burning shadows. The fiend sought to destroy Chandra, but upon raising the moon fragment, the fiend shuddered and retreated. At last, they discovered a golden box, closed, yet trembling with light within. Turning the key opened the box in a flash, and from it surged a radiant light. The light restored Chandra to her true identity. Chandra realized then she was a light fairy, sent to Earth to learn love and courage so that one day she could protect the star realm. Her wings regained their luminescence, and by moonlight, she soared skyward. She returned to the star realm, a world where fate is scripted in light and hope is woven from starlight. Even today, a new star glows in the night sky, Chandratara. It tells the tale of a princess who crafts wondrous stories with magic and courage. They were twins, yet opposites of one another. Alakchand would cast its light over people's sorrows, guard the dreams of children at night, and bring a touch of peace to the waves of the rivers. In contrast, Antikarachand would amplify fears, steal dreams, and secretly concoct a grand scheme to remove Alakchand and rule the sky alone. One day, Antikarachand unleashed a terrifying magic of black smoke that covered the entire sky. Darkness spread everywhere. The earth trembled, trees began to wither, and the waters of the rivers turned black. It was then that a group of brave boys and girls decided to rescue Alakchand. They journeyed across mountains and rivers to reach Chandrapahar, the mountain of the moon, where the two moons were locked in battle. Alakchand was weak, its light rapidly dimming. But with the courage and the power of belief emanating from the children's hearts, Alakchand slowly regained its former glow. Together, they pulled Alakchand to safety using ropes and pushed Antikarachand into a mysterious abyss, Kalokia, where no magic could ever thrive. In the end, light returned to the sky. The moon smiled, stars twinkled, and rivers danced. Those courageous children became the keepers of light, transforming into a special group known as the Sky Warriors. They vowed to ward off any future darkness. Up in the sky, shadows of the two moons are still visible, one bright, one faint. The bright one whispers, "Light always wins," while the other remains silent, having been defeated by bravery and friendship.
In a distant village surrounded by mountains and forests, an eerie event began to unfold. Everyone was aging rapidly. A boy of 20 walked with a cane by 25, and women in their 30s had hair as gray as those in their 70s. The villagers were gripped with fear, realizing someone was stealing their lifespans. One day, Niloe, the most intelligent boy in the village, resolved to solve this mystery. At night, he set off towards the mountains. After much searching, he discovered a mysterious old woman under a tree, hair white, eyes crimson, clutching a long pair of scissors and a basket full of golden threads. Each night, she cut these threads, each representing the lifespan of an individual. Niloe realized this was the lifespan thief. She was shortening the threads of life, causing everyone to age rapidly. Hiding behind a tree, Niloe cleverly used a magical insect to enchant the old woman's scissors into putting her to sleep. The next night, as the old woman slumbered, Niloe attempted to snatch the scissors. However, the scissors were no ordinary tool. Anyone who held them had a piece of their life snipped away. Niloe understood this and, with cunning, tricked the scissors into cutting the old woman's own thread. The old woman slowly evaporated into the air, vanishing along with all the stolen lifespans. The following morning, an amazing thing happened in the village. Everyone's ages reverted to normal. The gray faded from their hair, and brightness returned to their eyes. Niloe became the village hero, and the magical scissors? He hid them deep in a cave, ensuring that no one could ever become a lifespan thief again. In the village of Barshala, winter mornings were synonymous with fog enveloping the surroundings, the mist-covered sun peeking through the bamboo grove, and a silent symphony of dewdrops collected on leaves. On that particular day, it was such a winter morning. However, this morning had a different flavor. It began with a surprising rain. The clouds silently approached. First, a gentle patter, then continuous rain as if umbrellas had to be opened. The whole village seemed to pause in that rain. But in one corner, a small family sat in the porch of a mud house. A mother, father, and their two children, Puthul and Raju. In the corner of the porch, the mother was sitting, frying onion fritters and potato chops in a big pan. The sizzling sound of the fritters blended seamlessly with the rain's melody. Smoke and fragrance rose from the teacups. Puthul, wrapped in a shawl, came next to his mother and asked, "Mother, do you think ghosts come on a day like this?" The mother chuckled and replied, "Not ghosts, dear, but fairies come. Those who seek love in winter days, listen to their stories." Taking the opportunity, the father began to tell a fairy tale. A princess whose smile could melt ice, and a rain fairy who would send rain to the earth when she felt sad. In the midst of the story, suddenly, under the cloudy sky, a wet path led to an elderly man standing in front of their house. Wrapped in a trembling shawl, his eyes bore the shadow of fatigue. Before anyone could ask anything, Puthul rushed over and said, "Come, Grandpa, have a seat inside." The elderly man slowly climbed onto the porch. The mother offered him tea and chops. Raju wrapped him in his red blanket. The old man looked at everyone, smiling gently, and said, "It is through your love that the world still exists. I'm going." As he spoke these words, he merged with the wind. Around them was only rain, the call of birds, and the silence of wonder. Puthul whispered, "Mother, was he a fairy?" The mother quietly wiped the corner of her eyes. Perhaps truly he was a rain fairy's envoy, a character from a fairy tale, come to confirm love. From that day, the people of Barshala village say, on the day when sudden rain falls during winter, a fairy tale knocks at the door.
In the kingdom of the Blue King, there lived a brave girl named Arya. Her eyes sparkled like emeralds, and her auburn hair shone like fire in the evening sun. One evening, in a forgotten corner of the royal palace, she discovered an ancient mirror, but it was no ordinary mirror. As Arya reached out to touch it, a flash of light burst forth, revealing her own reflection inside, but with cloudy eyes and a mysterious smile. "Who am I?" the reflection asked. Arya was taken aback. She realized this mirror was a magical gateway. Her grandmother once mentioned that somewhere in the palace there was a mirror that revealed one's true fears or hidden desires. But this mirror held an even deeper secret. As night fell, a silvery light emerged from within the mirror, leading Arya to another world, a place where trees spoke, rivers sang, and ancient prophecies were hidden within the mountains. The prophecy read, "Only a brave soul can uncover the mirror's secret if her heart holds pure truth and love for others." Yet, the journey was not easy. In that world, there was an evil sorceress who wished to claim the mirror's power for herself. Thus began a game of wit and a wondrous adventure, where Arya's friends helped her, a fairy named Raudra with sky-blue wings, and a solemn but kind-hearted fox who lived by the forest. In the end, with her courage, kindness, and devotion to the truth, Arya defeated the sorceress and unlocked the true power of the mirror, the power to transform any fear into love. And the mirror remains in the corner of the palace to this day, but now it no longer speaks on its own. It only remembers the brave girl named Arya. Deep within Belvel Forest, where the birds sang harmoniously and the flowers understood human speech, there lived a mystical girl by the name of Sarah near a gentle waterfall. She was silent, yet her eyes spoke the language of the woods. Birds perched on her shoulder, and flowers would glow brighter upon her touch. One day, Sarah stumbled upon a peculiar, small bell, silver in color and decorated with an intricate design. It lay beside a rock near the waterfall, with an inscription that read, "Whoever rings this bell with a selfless heart will open the doors to the dormant realm." Initially, Sarah felt a tinge of fear but was intrigued by a deep inner pull. She rang the bell. The chime resonated throughout the forest. Suddenly, all the birds paused, the flowers lifted their heads in unison, and from the shadows of the trees emerged a path illuminated by golden light. Following the path, Sarah reached a slumbering world, the realm of bells, where chimes replaced grass and time was frozen in a single moment. There, Lumina, the fairy and guardian of the realm, had been asleep for centuries. Sayara's selfless bell chime awakened her. Lumina spoke, "You will be the new guardian of this world, for you have roused the dormant beauty with love." From that day onward, every year, flowers bloom in the forest at the touch of the bell's chime. And Sarah? She still sits amid a circle of blossoming flowers, enveloped by the songs of birds and the magical essence mingling in the air. In a land far away, there was a realm named Eldoria. This kingdom was shrouded in magic, politics, and revenge. At the heart of the kingdom stood a mysterious castle, a locked door, which housed the St. Peter's Key, a magical artifact that could bring the dead back to life. The guardian of this key was an ethereal queen with wings white as the heavens. Her name was Aurelia. For centuries, she protected this key, for it could not only grant life, but also destroy the world if it fell into the wrong hands. One day, 3 daring thieves emerged from the enigmatic forests of Eldoria. 1, Thorin, a former knight seeking vengeance after losing his honor. 2, Lyra, a cunning thief wanting to bring back her lost brother. 3, Marco, skilled in magic, hiding a past laden with remorse. Their sole purpose was to steal St. Peter's Key and reclaim their lost pasts. As they approached the castle, a red-haired princess named Serena halted them from a golden canoe. "If you seek the key, one among you must sacrifice themselves. That is the covenant," she warned. The thieves hesitated, but Thorin spoke. "I am ready. My life holds little value if it saves another." They entered the castle, moving through chamber after chamber enchanted with magic. In one room, time stagnated. In another, they faced the errors of their past lives. At last, they arrived at a locked door. There, Aurelia awaited them. You can have the key if you use it for the realm's good, forgetting your own interests, she declared. Lyra stepped forward. I will bring back my brother, but if he turns out to be wicked, I will lose him again myself. Impressed by their honesty, Aurelia handed them the key. Yet, in that moment, Marco, driven by greed, seized the key and activated it. As the key was activated, the skies above Eldoria burst open. The ancient monster, Kronar, whom St. Peter himself once imprisoned, was unleashed. Chaos ensued as Thorin sacrificed himself to contain the key's power. The key was deactivated, and Kronar was bound once more. Aurelia, blessed by Thorin's selflessness, granted him rebirth. The three thieves returned, not as thieves, but as the protectors of Eldoria. The key was safely hidden again, with Princess Serena becoming the castle's guardian. Once more, Eldoria's skies were bathed in light, and the folklore grew. When three thieves forsake their desires, the key bestows the power of resurrection. Long, long ago, there were two distinct realms in the sky, Lunaria, the Moon Kingdom, and Solaria, the Sun Kingdom. In Lunaria lived an extraordinarily beautiful princess named Lenara. Her hair was like the azure sky, and her eyes shimmered with the light of stars. Lenara was serene, wise, and skilled in magic. She would descend into the dreams of Earth's children to remove nightmares and bring peace. However, a shadow of a dark future was looming over her kingdom. In Solaria lived Prince Solian, the King of Flames. He was brave and powerful, but his heart was harsh. In his realm, there was always rigid governance, and the light was scorching, often singeing creatures and wilting plants. Solian one day discovered that Lenara's magic could make him immortal. He then began planning an attack on Lunaria. Their first meeting was at the boundary of the sky when the sun was setting and the full moon was rising. Solian arrived ready for battle, but Lenara's gentleness left him stunned. Nevertheless, he kept his intentions hidden. He fell in love with the moon but couldn't let go of his greed. One day, Solian told Lenara, "If you and I unite, there will be no darkness in the sky." Lenara agreed to a friendship, not love. But Solian, through a spell-laden kiss, transferred her powers to the Sun Kingdom. Lunaria began to grow dim, and the children were tormented by nightmares. Lenara wept, but from her tears emerged a million stars. They roared, "You have broken Lenara's heart. Now we will break yours." Together, they cloaked Solian's realm in darkness. For the first time, an eclipse was seen in Solaria's sky. It was then that Lenara cast a grand spell, merging herself with the moon. Now she dwells in the moon and rises every night to protect the dreams of children on Earth. Solian was crushed by remorse. He watches the moon from a distant corner of the sky, knowing that even as he rises each morning, the moon is no longer his and never will be. Even today, those who gaze at the full moon say, "The lunar princess has now become the stars, while the sun prince remains eternally regretful." In a remote mountainous region, there was a small village. It was beautiful and peaceful, but adjacent to it was a mysterious forest, known as the Whispering Woods. No one dared to enter after dusk. The village elders would say, "Anyone who enters this forest never returns." The trees converse, the wind whispers, it calls, lures, then swallows them whole. Despite these tales, a courageous 12-year-old girl named Ella felt drawn to the forest. Her beloved grandfather was a famous folklore collector in the village. One day, he suddenly disappeared. Some said he had ventured into the Whispering Woods, seeking some ancient mystery. Ella believed that her grandfather was still alive, somewhere out there. One night, she picked up a torch, an old compass, and her grandfather's written diary, then bravely stepped into the eerie domain of whispers, the Whispering Woods. As soon as she entered the forest, the sound of the wind ceased. Mist surrounded her, and unseen voices seemed to whisper in her ears, go back, or you will be lost." Ella was scared but undeterred. Amidst the fog, she saw a shadow, resembling her grandfather. She ran towards it, but the shadow vanished behind the trees. Wandering further, she found herself in front of an old stone door. Above it was inscribed, "Only love can set free." Ella placed her hand on the door. Instantly, it swung open by itself. Inside, an unusual light spread, revealing her grandfather along with many others trapped by the forest's magic. Ella took her grandfather's hand and said, "I've come to take you home." The trees seemed to sigh softly, and once more the air was filled with whispers. "In your heart lies truth and love. The curse ends today." The entire forest flooded with light, and all those who were lost were freed. When Ella returned with her grandfather, the entire village hailed her as the guardian of the Whispering Woods. Yet, even today, if one listens closely late at night, gentle whispers can still be heard among the trees. Thank you, Ella. Beyond a distant hue of twilight clouds lay a magical realm called Ringmaya, a kingdom where rainbows blossomed in the sky, birds sang their melodies of dreams, and fireflies danced beneath the veils of nightlight. Within this enchanting land lived an extraordinary creature, the rainbow unicorn. With a radiant body of 7 shimmering colors, its horn glowed with hues, and its wings glistened with starlight. It was not just beautiful, it was an illuminator, a symbol of hope. But one day, the sky over Ringmaya turned gray and dull. The rainbows vanished, the birds' songs silenced, and peculiar sadness filled the eyes of children. That day, it was revealed that the monster of darkness, Golpoguccho, had stolen the essence of Ringmaya, Amalrong. Golpoguccho had hidden Amalrong at the end of the Rainbow Road, in a cave steeped in darkness. Without Amalrong, the skies of Ringmaya could never be colorful again. The rainbow unicorn decided it would retrieve Amalrong alone. The path was not easy. It had to cross the forest of frozen time, navigate the treacherous peaks, and wade through the whisper woods, where silence spoke only of solitude. Just then, like a comet across the sky, descended a legend, the mighty Pegasus. With its silver feathers gleaming and eyes ablaze with fire, its wings carried the force of storms. It stopped beside the rainbow unicorn. Pegasus spoke, "You are not alone, Rainbow. Wherever light hides, I spread my wings. I can hear the colors' silent weeping. Let's fill that silence with color." And so their journey began. Along the way, many obstacles emerged. Slumber stones cast a net of confusion, time traps held moments captive forever, and the shade pool tried to woo their spirit. But the rainbow unicorn shattered illusions with the light of its heart, and Pegasus tore through time's clutches with its fiery wings. Finally, they reached the cave of Golpoguccho. There the monster of darkness smugly declared, "You are but dreams, and I am the darkness of reality." Yet, the rainbow unicorn released a drop of heartlight from its horn, and Pegasus lashed with its sunshine wings. The light touched and tore through the mist. The cave exploded with color. Amalrong awakened. The rainbow once more appeared in the skies of Ringmaya. Since that day, every rainbow holds a hidden mystery. Every dream glimpses the sunshine wings and starry feathers, the rainbow unicorn and Pegasus, guardians of the light. Once upon a time, in a kingdom draped in magic, Elementra, there were 4 elemental lands governed by their unique forces: Aquasilis, the water realm; Pyrolith, the fire realm; Erathora, the air realm; and Geoterra, the earth realm. Ruling over these lands were 4 extraordinary princesses, who were friends, sisters, and warriors. Aurea was the princess of Aquasilis. Her skin was ice blue, her hair as gentle as flowing rivers. Her eyes held the tranquility of a stream, and her heart the depth of the ocean. Enora, The princess of Pyrolith had hair the color of fire and eyes that crackled with electricity. Her words seemed to spill with blazing embers. Fierce and warm-hearted, her realm was a haven for all. Sarah, princess of Erathora, danced with the wind and whispered with clouds. Her wings glinted with a hint of gold, and as she walked, the breeze hummed tunes. She commanded the air, calling forth rain or calming storms. Violicia, the princess of Geoterra, wielded the power of earth. Draped in deep violet gowns, she carried an enchanted staff as solid as mountains yet tender as love. She could birth trees with merely a touch. One night, when neither the moon nor stars shone, a shadow crept over Elementra. Her name was Noctera, a sorceress who had long ago attempted to derive her power from the hearts of the four elements using forbidden magic and was imprisoned by ancient guardians. A century later, Noctera returned, more powerful than ever. She attacked the realms one by one, drying Aquasilis, snuffing out Pyrolith's flames, stalling Erathora's winds, and cracking Geoterra's soil. The princesses realized that their lands would be doomed unless they united. Gathering at the ancient elemental tree, they conjured a collective magic, the ray of nature, a luminescent beam forged from friendship, trust, and sacrifice. Noctera assaulted them as a dire shadow. Araya carved a path with flowing waters, Inora ignited the path with fiery embers, Sarah scattered these flames across the air, and Violicia fortified the land with strong barriers. In a final moment of unity, they declared, "We are one, and as long as we stand together, darkness shall never prevail." The ray of nature descended, encircling Noctera, and sealed her once more for eternity. Peace returned to Elementra. The princesses resumed their duties, with bonds stronger than ever, knowing that they were not only the guards of their elements, but also parts of each other's hearts. Wherever nature breathed, there existed the brave friends, Araya, Inora, Sarah, and Violicia. On a distant icy island in the South Pole, where the sky and sea merge into one, was born a little penguin named Cody. He was different right from the start. While his peers rolled in the snow or learned how to catch fish, Cody stood by the sea, eyes filled with a boundless dream. His dream was singular, to ride a surfboard on the mighty waves, dancing with nature itself. But everyone said, "A penguin surfing? That's beyond imagination." Cody would smile and clutch his dream tighter to his heart, replying, "If anyone can dream, it can be done." One day, a terrible storm hit the island. The sky was scarred with lightning, and the sea roared in fury. As everyone scurried for shelter, Cody stood firm with his makeshift wooden surfboard, heading towards the ocean. In his heart swirled only one thought: if I can't make my dream come true, then living is pointless. Cody disappeared into the storm. Everyone thought he was lost forever. But by nature's whim, he reached a faraway island where lived Jeffo, a former surfer seal. Once, his name shook the ocean. Seeing the fire in Cody's eyes, Jeffo decided to return to the magic of surfing one last time, guiding someone else's hands. Days passed, nights came and went. In snow, among waves, in the wind's speed, Cody learned the battle of body and mind. He learned to love fear and embrace failure. Finally, the day of the competition arrived. The sky was clear, yet the sea remained untamed. The world's best surfers gathered, and among them stood Cody, a little penguin with fire in his eyes. At first, everyone laughed. Is this a competitor? But Cody knew this was his final fight with himself. He rode the waves, the first wave, the second wave. Then came the mighty surge. Cody closed his eyes, stood firm on his board, felt the wind, and caught the pulse of the ocean in his heart. Suddenly, a miracle. Standing atop the massive wave, Cody seemed to freeze time. He danced, he flew, he captured the heart of the sea. Everyone was stunned. The judges stood and applauded. Those who once ridiculed him now said, "This isn't just surfing. This is art, a poem of the heart." From that day on, Cody became a living legend. In the ice of the South Pole, now when children dream, they close their eyes and think, "I too can be like Cody one day." Because courage, dreams, and desire together write history. Once upon a time, in a land surrounded by 7 mountains, 3 rivers, and a vast forest, was the magical kingdom of Chandradweep. The kingdom had a sole princess named Tilottama. Tilottama was exceptionally beautiful, with a smile like morning dew, eyes full of wonder, and a mind filled with endless imagination. Her cuteness was enchanting, with rosy cheeks, milk-white skin, and eyes like sparkling beads that could mesmerize anyone. Although loved by all, she was quite lonely. The life confined within the palace walls could never make her happy. She yearned for the freedom to touch the sky, to climb trees, to dip her feet in river waters and converse with them. But everyone said, "You are a princess. Such things are not for you." Tilottama believed that true fairy tales were not inside the palace, but hidden somewhere outside, perhaps in a mysterious cave within the deep forest. One day, before the first light of dawn, she tiptoed out of the palace. She ventured into the deep woods of Chandraban, where no one dared to go, because within the forest supposedly lived the fearsome monster, Algor. The people of the kingdom said, "Algor devours humans, his roar shakes the trees, and his eyes burn like fire." Tilottama did not believe such words. She thought, "We call anyone a monster whom we fear." Standing in front of a rocky cave in the jungle, she courageously called out, "Hello, are you there? I'm here to be friends with you." The cave rumbled. Out came a gigantic shadow. Standing amid the light and dark was the monster Algor. His eyes gleamed, teeth as strong as mountains, and his body dark as the night. But his voice was surprisingly calm. "You are not afraid?" Tilottama smiled and said, "Everyone feels fear, but one cannot make friends if one is afraid. I am alone. You are alone. Let's be friends." Thus began an unusual friendship between Princess Tilottama and the so-called fearsome monster Algor. They met in secret every day. Tilottama would tell stories, laugh, climb trees, and Algor would show her his world, a secret cave where echoes gather, a hillside waterfall's melody, and his hidden emotions. Once Algor confided, "When I was young, I wanted to play and tell stories. But everyone feared me, and one day I ended up all alone." Tilottama had held his hand and said, "You're not a monster, you're just different. And being different doesn't mean being fearsome." That day, they looked up to the sky and said, "Let's create a world where there's friendship, not fear." But one day, danger arrived. While patrolling the woods, some royal guards saw the princess standing beside a giant monster. They screamed, "The princess is in danger. The monster has captured her." Raising their swords, they prepared to attack. At that moment, Tilottama stood in front, raised her hands and shouted, "Stop! He's my friend. He has never harmed me. Instead, he has shown me true care." The king, upon hearing the news, arrived there. Seeing the courage and truth in his daughter's eyes, he stayed silent. He looked at Algor and said slowly, "If you can be Tilottama's friend, then you are my friend as well. Trust, not fear, is the strength of this kingdom." From that day on, Algor was no longer a monster. He became the guardian of the hills of Chandradweep. The children began loving him.